Hey there, Nate here with the Volunteer Tech Vlog on the Live Sound 101 YouTube channel and livesound101.com. This is going to be a media report, and just got done doing audio mixing for the service on September 3rd, 2017. And I got my list of things, my mental list of things I'm going to run down here. So this was a bit of a frantic morning because the band practiced without me. And so I didn't get the luxury of, doing a sound check during rehearsal, making sure all the patches were patched properly, and all that basic legwork, labeling all the channels, making sure the rough mixes are good. That's what I like to do during rehearsal. And then just let the band work things out. So didn't have that. So coming in this morning, I used the preset, but when I came in, bass was not routed to the dedicated kind of bass DI channel. Somebody decided it was noisy or something with that particular bass player's rig, so they decided to try a different channel, DI9, which was set up for a guitar, and it was set up for a different guitar, so the levels were way too hot on channel 9. It was clipping, it was overloading, so I was really confused when I first came in. I'm like, whoa, what's going on? Bass is on the wrong channel, it's clipping. So fixed that, did a little sound check there. One of the hotspot monitors wasn't plugged in, so had to troubleshoot that to get that working. And so after I got everything all patched in properly and levels set and everything, I didn't really get a whole lot of chance to mix and actually listen to what it sounded like in the room. So there was definitely a case of loud stage monitors happening. And so I did a little bit to try to take the edge off of the stage monitors and mix, but my main thing was getting the vocals above all the other sonic stuff that was happening in there, all the muddiness. I want to get the vocals up nice and loud, and that was really what I was focused on doing. So it was a little bit crazy. Definitely used the Q mix in from the headphones to get everything sounding, to do my rough mixes real quick. I went through and did I did front of house, in front of house. Gotta sneeze. Actually, I did front of house listening to the front of house mix, and then I did the other ones in the headphones. So I did like Fellowship Hall or the Overflow mix. I did that in the headphones real quick. And I did broadcast in the headphones real quick, and I did IEM1, in-ear monitor 1, which is actually a wireless feed that's going up to the nursery, just real quick in my headphones. And yeah, we got everything sound checked. Got the Pastor John's over-the-ear Countryman sound checked. Got the pulpit mic sound checked. Got Pastor Mike's lav mic sound checked. And the service went well. Probably nobody else noticed anything except for me, kind of critiquing my own mix. I'm like, oh man, I know it could have sounded better if I had a little bit more time, but I did as much as I could with the situation I had. And what else happened? So the dB, let's call it dB level. So I always like to just keep an eye on the max level that we're hitting, as measured from the back of the room. The dB-SPL A-weighted slow. And important note is the location of that mic changed about 50 to 60 inches. So we used to have it kind of closer to head level, and it was like hanging down below the stage display on the rear wall. And I gotta sneeze again. Sorry about that. And so now it is Josh spent some time on the back wall, like mounting things, so it is now mounted more securely, but it is in a different location. Instead of the lower left, it's on the upper right. Now it is just interesting to note that we have a new location. So we've been measuring from the same location for a couple of years now. We've got a new location, which is it's definitely more off axis from that main overhead. So I don't really have a good feel for how much that little 50, 60 inch change in location actually impacts. It would be kind of neat to set up like a reference tone in the room and then move that mic to see how much being off axis by that distance impacts the reading of the dB meter. And we do have a freshly calibrated dB meter. We just calibrated it a couple months ago. And so anyway, just interesting to make note of. But we did hit about 89 dB-SPL A-weighted slow as measured from the new location. So still under 90. We definitely were up in the low 90s during rehearsal. When I walked in, it was pretty loud, and the meter had peaked in the low 90s. I think it was like 91 or something like that, or 90. So I reset that, and I kind of took control of the mix, took things down a little bit more. EQ'd some stuff, added some filters, some high pass filters, and adjust where the high pass was happening. So all that impacted it. Let's see, what else do I have on my list here? So it was a little frantic. I did talked about bass coming in hot on input 9. I had to correct that. Normally, if all things being equal, if we use the presets correctly, the gain is actually set in pretty much the right ballpark. So you don't even have to do a whole lot of gain adjustments on the regular, because things are pretty much set. And if everybody keeps their instrumentation the same and their gear the same, they come and they plug in and we use the presets properly, all that stuff's figured out. Let's see, what was the other thing? Oh, Wi-Fi. Yeah, I was going to talk about Wi-Fi. So the Wi-Fi, we had 31. It was reading, I used the Fing app to see how many people are on the network, and it read 36 out of 51 devices. So there's been a total of 51 devices on that network. Now, I think about 25 of them are like fixed, like network appliances, like a printer or the mixing console, or just like church computers and routers and whatnot. And so it's just interesting to keep your eye on, like, even though the password isn't given out publicly, it is given out to people as it's needed, as people, as teachers need to, teach a class or whatever they're doing, the password gets given out. So it is interesting to keep your eye on it. So I think, I don't know if we change the password like once a year or twice a year or something like that, just to make sure we don't overload our network with too many concurrent users. I'll keep my eye on that. Not really an audio thing, but it kind of is an audio thing. If your iPad you're mixing from is on that same network, all of a sudden you have 200 people on it because somebody gives out the password, and you got some problems there. So those are my thoughts. Media report from today. I think overall it went okay. I spent some time reading through the TF5 manual a little bit more about just effects 1 and 2 and how it's set up and how to just get the most out of it, and just where, because I haven't really, we've had the TF5 for a while, I just haven't really spent the time to dig into the effects and how the effects are managed. I think I've talked about this before, but essentially there's on the input strip, on the channel strip, there's an effect send, and you can pick which send you want per channel and the level of send. But then you also have the return that comes in on a fader bank. So it's like the sends are like virtual, controlled in software, but then the returns are actually, you hit the effects 1 and 2, and the returns actually show up on the input, which is kind of interesting. So I'm getting used to that workflow. It's still it's a different workflow from what we had previously, which I was used to. So anyway, that'll do it for this video. This has been a media report on the Volunteer Tech Vlog. I'll see you in the next video.